Greetings, greetings, one and all. Greetings to your ancestors. Hope everything good with everybody. Hope everything airy. Another live on YouTube official. Waiting for someone to come in. If not, we start anyhow. Alright. So in the meantime, let me give them about 1 minute and then we'll come back. Okay? Alright, peeps. Welcome again. Hope everything good. Hope everything airy. This is another live from YouTube official. Topic of today: Jomo Kenyatta, the founder of Kenya. Kenyatta, Kenya. So you don't know, Kenya have to be named after him. Very powerful father, I should say. Hope everything good and airy with him in the afterlife. Our life after this life. I have a very powerful clip to share with y'all. Very, very powerful clip. Like it. You will like it very much. So please, if you're not coming into the live, whether on the replay hour or help support the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe as well, because there will be more video like this. And share it with your brothers and your sisters and your neighbor, all your friends them, and tell them that YouTube official is here. Make sure they know about the channel and help out. I really appreciate love it. At the same time, the reason why I'm making all these reviews on these topics, because I see it as very important that we always keep our ancestors in mind, especially these ones that have paved the way for us to live such a free life on a scale because still there's much more to go. But it's because of the works of ancestors is why we as a people are free now, could express ourselves on certain levels. You might say, how is that possible? Because I'm living over in the Caribbean at this present time, in a small little country called Sims and Grenadines, oceans away from Africa. But yet still the works that they have done have impacted me and us special black people. You want to know what happened? It's because Africa is the land of our forefathers and it's our motherland because every race have a land for themselves. Every race have a like a boundary, a territory. China have theirs, Chinese have theirs, which is China. The white man have his, which is Europe. The Indian have theirs, which is India. So that is why Marcus Garvey asks, where's the black man king, where's the black man God? Because everybody have their own. But it's like we serving other races, especially white man races, we most of us on our team is working for. But our land is really Mother Africa, Mama Africa, you know. So when you build Africa now on a level, it's going to transcend worldwide and benefit Africans no matter where they are. Because it doesn't really matter where you come from, as a Peter Tosh having one of his powerful songs. It doesn't matter where you come from, as long as he's a black man, he's an African. And it's very important to remember that as people. It's very, very important because no matter, you could be in Jamaica, America, Europe, we are still, we come from one genetic lineage, which is African people, black people. No matter what part the Chinese man born, a Chinese man could born right in Vinci. And when we look at him, first thing when come to our mind, he's a Chinese. Is when we go talk to him now, that's when we're going to find out he was born here. But he is still a Chinese. And these people keep themselves that way, them keep that image and keep that culture. Same goes with the Indians. No matter where they born, they still are Indian. It's only black people now just say, me not come from Africa. Me not no African. It's only black people have that mentality in the world. No one else. So when you put yourself in that position, it's like you're weakening your own self because you know separating yourself from the team and putting yourself out in the world alone. And that I see is a great problem. And they use this strategy called divide and rule. So when you could divide and rule a people, this is what them like. You see? And this is the main strategy they use on us, divide and rule. So always be wise and choose the wise road than to just go up the like searching for his way. You know, we have to always know where we come from. And this great king, great leader, Jomo Kenyatta, is someone to always keep in mind. He's one of His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie, great friend. They had a excellent relationship. They were even working together to form what you call the OAU, Organization of Africa Unity. That is something like what you have United States of America. They were planning to have something like the United States of Africa. And with that, it would have bring all the countries in Africa together as one instead of they scattered with all these boundaries. So now other invaders could go and seek territories on the weaker set, you know, and they have already set the blueprint. So it's now for us, the offsprings, to take up the mantle and carry it on into the future. I think this should be our greatest aim. We should wake up every morning with this on our mind and go sleep every night with it on our mind. Because without setting this foundation, we will always be at the bottom of the ladder and be wondering why black people like this and why black people is like that. And looking at the other races as superior to you. And that's what's exactly happening right now. It is a very sad state because people who doesn't really, who not original Africans, go into Africa and take over and controlling the territories, the resources, and sending it over to their people and making their race stronger. Because it is whether you don't like it or not, whether you like it or not, is a of racism, which is white supremacy. And they have set the world in a way where everybody racing is not no togetherness wall, it's not a all peace and love wall. And His Majesty will have a quote saying until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another race inferior, there will always be war. Bob Marley made a song on it as well. And this is what's happening right now. We are at war. And I, as a team member of the black race, want you to know that we are at war. Long before I was born and you was born, they captured us and they bring us over here, scattered us all over the earth, and have us like their slaves, doing all the work for them until this present time we still under their oppression. So this is where we really have to focus on breaking free from, and we have to do it for our spring coming in future. You have to make the life much easier because At the same time, they are trying to make it much harder on us. So we have to always keep that in mind. It's a fight. It's a fight for territory. It's a fight for respect, you know. And these people will go and do it, do any means necessary, any means. Sometimes they don't care about honor or even respect. They just all they care about winning and losing. They don't wanna be the loser. They wanna win all the time, and doesn't matter how they accomplish it, they go and go that route. History have taught us that about them. Any means necessary. So we have to always keep these things in mind. Anyhow, we told Father Jew by now you should already hit that like button, subscribe and share this live to all your people. So spread the message, you know. So I'm gonna go into the video that I want to share with y'all. I will break it down, chop it up piece by piece so we could decipher certain things. And mind you, this is not just for entertainment purposes. This is for us to see the blueprint that have been set, and at the same time it is for us to learn from the mistakes that our ancestors had made, so we wouldn't fall or continue or do the same mistake or fall for the same trap. It is very important because a lot of times we just read history, forget our ego boost to feel hype, but it is much deeper than that. The main purpose of me sharing this is for us to learn, learn about our ancestors and learn how we're going to carry along the mantle that was set on us. Alright, so just keep that in mind while we're watching this video, and let's get into it. Alright, here goes. This is a video you can find it on YouTube. All you have to do, type in this Faces of Africa, Jomo Kenyatta, the father of Kenya, the founding father of Kenya. And that will lead you straight to the video. I'm gonna break it. Alright, so let's go. Add a little volume. Before we even start, that same on the structure there, one big statue. And one thing about Africa, Africa have all these landmarks and statues and things of our leaders. So whenever you traveling, you will recognize them because they are always in position where you will always see them clearly, well structured. Despite all the lies they tell us how Africa is undeveloped and it's all about poverty over there. That's just the lies that the Europeans and the other races put in the media so they could brainwash us to stop us from going over there. And at the same time, they are the ones going over there regularly. In our country, they have a statue of a white man with a gun in his hand. So whenever you see that, you feel depressed. you feel inferior. You don't have no motivation or anything to even chat on or do anything positive as a black man because there is no representation of you. Come like they want to show us like worthless set of people. We didn't do anything, you know. So this is why I always believe Africa is where I want to be. I even have a sign, let me show you. You see this? Africa is where I want to be. I want repatriation and reparation. No. So that's what we're seeking for. Repatriation and reparation. You know? So anyhow, I think I talk enough. That was a long intro, but sometimes it just flowing, you know. I'm just flowing. So here goes.
He was a charismatic man with a gift of he broke down when he addressed people, he could electrify the people. He would not sleep at State House because he said there were ghosts of white people and the frogs were croaking. He thought they were saying he shouldn't be there. Kenyatta, legacy.
See that beautiful masterpiece, eh? That's how that man they just live royalty, you know.
Nairobi, one of the fastest growing cities in Africa. The dynamic metropolis is growth in progress, happening across much of the continent. The city looking future, it is also one mindful of the past. And the man who helped shape Kenya into what it is today. Let me remain to me to present to you Mr. Prime Minister his constitutional instruments which established Kenya's independence. December the 12th, 1963, and Jomo Kenyatta, then in his 70s, becomes the founding father of the Kenyan nation. He's down in history as the man who was, but tons of Kenyans.
One thing he always be waving a little feather, a feather thing he always some reason.
And now is simply called Nze.
becomes older and older, particularly a wise man or a leader, he's unsafe. In fact, sometimes they even used to call him old man. To Europeans, that may sound very bad when somebody calls you old man, but not to Africans. It's a term of respect.
In a presidency spanning 14 years, Kenyatta was an icon to his people, well known for his distinctive personal style.
The leather jacket, I would say it was his political trademark. And there was national political celebration, he would come in that leather jacket. That was his symbol. Very big ring and very nice carved walking stick and a fly whisk, of course. His fly whisk, for example, was a gift from Ethiopia, from Haile Selassie, the emperor. Of authority, the sign of peace. When you do,
Also, he had the feather from His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie. And I saw, yes.
that, the territory of peace.
Today, Kenya is thriving, as is Kenyatta's legacy. But nearly 50 years of independence, the country is a very different place to the one. For later as a colony, Kenya was then ruled by the British.
When the white people came, they decided to make the African a kind of a servant, the servant class. And anybody who asked for independence is shot. It was not actually called apartheid in this country, it was called the color bar. The color bar meant white people, citizens number one, Asians, citizens number two, and the Africans were still not.
Men were given what they call kipande, identification card, which was put in a metal box and then it was hung their heads so that it looks like a dog's tag.
The young Kenyatta was among those unafraid to speak out against these injustices. Born in Gatondo in Kenya's Central Highlands, his family was part of the Kikuyu community, the largest of Kenya's 40 or so ethnic groups. From the start, he showed resolve and initiative. He paid for himself to go to school by working houseboy for a white settler. In the 1920s, he entered politics and went to Britain to lobby for his country and further his education. Back in Kenya, his popularity grew, and returning in 1946, he was a voice for the growing call for the British to get out.
We must show the world that some of them have been wrong, that some of them have misunderstood us, and it's only by our action they will know that we mean business.
Here we see it. It's by your actions. This is how we get the British out of Kenya and out of the power position. By the actions, not by talking. It's by the actions. He teach the people them for acting away. For show these people that we really mean business. It's very powerful.
People championed that cause, but the one person who brought that movement gave it the blood, the stamina, like the strength that stretched across and made it a real nationalistic movement was Jomo Kenyatta. He was a charismatic man with a gift of the gab. He spoke damn well when he had best public meeting by the crowd. So it was, that every Kenyan just, yeah.
The early 1950s saw the rise in Kenya of the Mau Mau, violence as a means to an end.
I want to make a pause right here. You see, Kenya, you notice these are Rasta people, like lax people, I should say. This is before Rastafari movement begin. And we have a movement in Rastafari that call it Naya Bingi movement. And it's stem from Kenya. The word Naya Bingi is a Kenya woman who used to lead the army. And the man and the woman in the army used to carry locks. They used to look so dread and terrible. So when they go into the enemies used to look so frightened. So if you notice, I still carry locks and thing, and a lot of Rastafari carry locks, as well as Naya being the same thing still, you know. But this is where it really stemmed from. From it is an African heritage, African culture from way back in Kenya and over, and you know we are connected spiritually, so it's one energy. Doesn't matter where we come from, the same African. You know, and this is a perfect representation of what I'm talking about. Yeah.
In response, the British declared a state of emergency in which tens of thousands of Kenyans were detained or killed. In October 1952, Kenyatta, now in his 60s, was arrested and accused of managing a mob, a charge he always denied. He intends to
You see, one thing if you notice through his history, almost every single one of the leaders that try to represent us, they put them in prison. Innocently. There's such a long list of this example. This is exactly one. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X. So don't make them make you feel anyway because you've been to prison. Although it's not something to be proud of, but we have to know the real reason why they want us in jail.
7 years hard labor. On his resolve and follow even
To his people. I remember once I saw him speak about independence mainly for Kenya. And of course, this was bad news for the settler who insisted that Kenya will never be independent.
When do you want independence for Kenya? Today.
To the settler, he was a devil. There's no question about it.
But post-World War II, the British Empire was shrinking fast, and by the early 1960s, Britain was making plans to pull out. Kenyatta won elections in Kenya in 1963. He became Prime Minister, and the path to independence was paved.
This is one of the happiest days of my life.
But while Kenyans were thrilled with their new leader, the British white settlers were so.
Everyone was shit scared, if I might say, of what was going to happen to their new way of life.
The whites tricked them with Kenyatta.
That me took
So while the Kenyans them was celebrating because they had independence, the British them inside of Kenya, they didn't like that. They always want to hold power over the Kenyan people, the original people and the land that you call Kenya.
place in Nakuru. And the white settlers who were in Kenya, that and many of them were there. The hall was full.
Dr. Njoroge Mungai, then in his 30s, was one of 4 government advisors Kenyatta took with him.
Our advice at that time, this has never been told before, was that we don't want these people to stay. We want them to go quickly. When you tell them, you get some kind of notice for them to know that the land must go back to the people. He said, yes, yes, yes. We went there.
So you see the blueprint that these leaders have set is forget the British them out and make sure the land go back to the rightful people. So we have to always follow that and always keep them in mind and use the action to make them know that we're serious and mean business. This is what we have to do to gain back our territory and our respect in this place we call Mother Earth. It's very, very true. We just have to know what we have to do and do it. And this is what them man here do, what makes the enemy kringle. Hold them under the bottom foot. You always keep your foot on your neck. Always, constantly. Don't ease up.
We sat down, then President Kenyatta started. Well, we expected to hear this mention when to leave, but that's not what we heard.
I think some of you have been maybe worried what will happen if Kenyatta comes to be the head of the government. Well, now, let me set you to rest. That Kenyatta has no intention whatsoever to look backward. We are going to give the past.
That speech was a very good one. He says, so, look, calm down, boys. I'm not going to slit your throat. Do behave yourself. Don't throw your weight around. There's a future for you here.
That's not what we thought he was going to say. But the meeting went on very well. And they asked him the questions, he handled them beautifully. We had till he didn't say anything that we had asked him to say. So when we finished the thing, we went back to the small room just to discuss with him. Well, Jomo Kenyatta said, yes, I listened to you very carefully. I listened to your advice very well, but I did not accept your advice. If you look at it now, it was a very smart and a very wise way of doing it. We were men in a hurry, youth in a hurry, and we wanted to see them get out and get their notice, but he was not.
You see, he moved very strategic. He used very much strategies in that movement. Because what the British settlers been expecting him to say is, yeah, let's leave the country, get out, get out, get out quick, immediately. No, no, no. But instead him say, don't worry, don't get frightened. He decided to forgive the past. And that made them feel much comfortable. But while we continue the video, we'll see the benefit of him doing that. Because even me watching it, they don't expect him to make such a move. But it is a wise move still. Very wise.
Tolerance are the hallmarks of the new Kenyatta presidency. He coined the phrase Harambee, meaning let's pull together, and it became a national slogan. But though he didn't find it, he found it difficult to think of State House, previously the British seat of government, as his.
He would not sleep at State House because he said there are ghosts of white people.
I believe we will our party.
Said that he couldn't sleep because there were ghosts of white people and the frogs were croaking. He thought they were saying he shouldn't be there.
From every night, however late, Kenyatta made a 50-kilometer journey to Gatondo. As well as being his birthplace, it is now the location of the home he shared with his wife Ngina and their 4 children, Christine, Uhuru, and
Wow, you had a beautiful family, man. 2 boys and 2 girls. Very beautiful family, and his wife on his side. Very nice.
Mohoho. Ngina was Kenyatta's 4th wife. He had 4 more children from earlier marriages, including one to a British woman while living in the UK.
Okay.
As a father and as a husband, he embraced traditional values.
He liked his wife to look like a Kikuyu, not too anglicized or westernized. As at the time, here were not won by just very recently been taken over. They were going to go for the inauguration of the Air Force, and Mama Gina, looking for the to look best, wore trousers. And Zed did not like it. Oh yes, I think, yeah.
At heart, he was still a very sentimental Kikuyu person and loved in the evening nothing more than dozens of women chanting their tribal songs night after night after night. He loved that sort of thing.
Came to his country, however, Kenyatta was modern and progressive. Under his leadership, the infrastructure grew and the economy prospered.
As soon as independence came and Kenyatta government was formed, I think it as if the whole world was waiting for it. A lot of investors moved in. The economy was very lively. I think his leadership really spearheaded the economic development.
In building this new nation, Kenyatta had an overriding priority.
Number one for Kenyatta is education. He regarded education as a very important instrument in the governance of the country. Successful education system.
His number one is always education, and I noticed that pattern with these leaders in the past. They always cherish education as the main priority. Make sure the youths them educated so you could get a brighter future, a better future, because the youths are the future. So you have to always equip them and give them the right tools so they could continue and do even much better than us. Even His Majesty was the Minister of Education for years, and he took it serious and he didn't want anybody else to take off that position. Not like the leaders them now. Like in my country, the most that the position that they prefer is Minister of Finance. So they could control the money and thing, or they will like to get the Minister of Security. So they will feel much secure. These are the positions that they run for. And things like education is more on the back burner. They give them to ministers that I would say not that serious with their job at task. But they need this it's just because they don't follow these examples. That's why they live in them with it. They have their mindset. It's all about the paper, and power. But education is the greatest, and not just education that you can use, education that is useful, because without the proper education, you will just fully head up with a whole set of different things where you can't use. So it's important that you know the right thing. Continue.
Very important to him.
In 1966, the Jomo Kenyatta Foundation was set up. its mandate to use proceeds from the sale of textbooks to pay for deprived school continues to this day.
Medias how to construct a pandemic plan by sector of the 1980s.
Thanks to the foundation, 10-year-old Nesongari is now studying at a girls' boarding school in Nairobi. Her ambition is to become a chemical engineer. Without the scholarship, she'd have little chance of achieving her dream. For her mother is a single parent, and her home is one of the city's biggest slums.
The Jomo Kenyatta Foundation has so far educated approximately 50,000 needy and bright students in the Kenyan public secondary schools at an approximated of $6.25 million. The students are poor, or destitute from all over the country. We also cater for the disabilities.
I think if it were not for the Jomo Kenyatta Foundation sponsorship, I don't think that have been to secondary. Maybe I could just have been left in the village doing like some of them because my mother could not have afforded the fees to take me to a secondary. I think that the foundation sponsorship have helped me a lot.
As well as nurturing his new nation, Kenyatta was successful in forging links abroad. During the years following independence, he regularly played host to visiting dignitaries and heads of state.
Charles Princess Anne came here and they wanted to see him at home. I was foreign minister then. So I took them to Gatundu, his home, and they sat there in an African setting, all of them comfortable, talking, laughing about them. I felt quite happy. He was able to adjust to anybody.
Prince Charles is now the king because Queen Elizabeth have passed away, And these men have relationship with those guys in the early times.
He had a wonderful sense of humor. Outside the public arena, you met him in private. He was full of jokes. He had very good sense of humor. He made people laugh, and his memory was just wonderful.
On other occasions, however, Kenyatta could show a different side.
He had a terrible temper sometimes. I remember once, Baluya people to talk to them about fighting in their area. They were houses, and Jomo said, I'm not going to send police to find out who it is. One of you. But one of the people said, try to justify the situation and use the parts that were there present Jomo Kenyatta. So he threw that fly whisk to him.
As the years progressed, it claimed increasingly tolerant of dissent. He had the Kenyan Constitution amended to extend his powers. In the euphoria of independence, politicians of different backgrounds and beliefs had joined together. But within a few years, factions were forming, and Oginga Odinga, once Kenyatta's ally and vice president, set up an opposition party. Rivalries came to a head in 1969. Both men turned up at the opening of Kisumu Hospital in West Kenya. The crowd, mainly Odinga supporters and members of his ethnic group, the Luo, began heckling Kenyatta.
A scuffle broke out on the main bus of his VIPs. Somebody threw a chair in Kenyatta's direction. Well, Kenyatta obviously was very well prepared with his people trouble. And trouble then began in a series with an awful lot of
was made. And voices were drowned. Of course, it was the duty of the police to protect and keep peace.
the bodyguard, Kenyatta, surrounded him, and firing outwards in a general way. It was terrifying. The main crowd were about 100 meters away, and they started shouting anti-Kenyatta slogans. And Kenyatta somehow managed to get the microphone back and started to insult in a very salty way the Luo people in general. And on the standstill, Ginga kept shouting back at Kenyatta. So it was a very, very explosive situation.
At least 10 people died in the shooting. Just days later, Odinga's political party was banned, turning Kenya effectively into a one-party state, and Odinga himself was arrested and detained. Kenyatta, by now, was nearing the end of his second presidential term and approaching 80.
Because the constitution had been changed so much, it gave Kenyatta the powers to detain without trial.
And this is something that I noticed as well. If you watch the previous video, my previous live with Karuma, they always have this one party government. Kwame Nkrumah had the same one party government. And I think it's good because so much problems, this divide up party thing, like in our country to have about 2 to 4 parties. And these are intelligent men and they have ideas, but when you only have one party which consists of only 15 members for govern a whole country with so much problems, I think it's very difficult for them to do that. But if you could bring all these parties together and have a one party, then they could have more solutions for the problems. And this is a step that Jomo Kenyatta took, which I really applaud, because it just eliminate a lot of confusion. Just eliminate a lot of confusion. And the same thing Kwame Nkrumah did as well, But it takes the people for know the benefits of a one party government and work towards it, But there are so much divisiveness and everybody wants to be the leader. So this is why each one have his own party and a kind of thing, And the country is still holding back. So the progress that we could have made is now limited because of less minds. As them say, 2 heads think better than one. So when you have 2 parties coming together, it will be much better than for have only one of them functioning and the other one just waiting for his turn to get into power. I think that is one of the biggest mistakes in our country, and the constitution should be changed on them kind of level there, where we could have a one party government. So all them election money wasting, no, just those things even necessary. Continue.
And that showed clearly what kind of a despot he had become, an intolerant despot who could not tolerate any form of opposition.
also proved controversial and remains to this day. As factors in violence again, following election in December 2007.
What happened in 2008 was not so much a question of election. It was a land question. Election was just a trigger. Every time there's such a thing, it triggers that anger. Any spark can cause a conflagration.
To blame, some believe, were corruption and ethnic bias in the resettlement of land previously held by the British.
I have to admit that the exercise was not as straightforward, it was not as successful, it was not as good as it should have. Because if it had, I think we would have solved the problem which is still with us. Instead of really doing it straightforward and a bit crooked.
Kenyatta's personal acquisition of tracts of land is also a source of national debate. But other events cast perhaps a dark shadow. In July 1969, Tom Mboya, a politician tipped by some as a contender for the presidency, was gunned down in Nairobi city center. His death came 4 years after journalist and politician Pio Gama Pinto, an opponent of Kenyatta's government, was shot at close range. And in 1975, Josiah Mwangi Kariuki, another politician who challenged the regime, was also assassinated.
I would like to exonerate Jomo Kenyatta himself for being instrumental in the assassination of Tom Mboya, Pio Gama and again. I don't think Jomo Kenyatta was the instrumental. Jomo Kenyatta was getting old. He was not even really running the show. By the time of his death, he was just a respected old man. His health towards the end, about the last 4 or 5 years, was not because sometimes he could not fulfill his official duties, although he made every just stayed at Khartoum or went to Mombasa, and we will not disclose the reason. Sometimes he could not walk properly, and sometimes he couldn't read properly, and sometimes properly. A few people around Kenyatta took advantage of his senility. And given that he was the president, and a very active president as such, everything like as if he's making some things that were not really properly done. A few of his own people around him. And that, I think, was unfortunate.
In August 1978, now in his late 80s, Kenyatta invited his entire family to a reunion at his house on the
One thing with these leaders, they rule for a very long time. So even in his 80s, he was still governing the country and thing. It's very tremendous. But at them kind of age, it come with some negative impact, you see. And this is why others feel like they could come in and overthrow. Because it's same as old and not functioning to the best of his ability. Well, to well, he functioning to his best of his ability because he's old, but he wanted something newer, some newer head for run the country, you know.
coast. he died in his sleep.
Ilikuwa kilio nchini Kenya, wote tuliona huzuni nyingi sana.
Despite Kenyatta's advance, the nation he founded was stuck.
You cried, you were upset. We embalmed him, and so he was lying in State House, and it was just like him, in his suit and flower, which mother used to put every morning, a new flower. And people could not accept that Mzee has gone.
Rest in power, rest in power. Great ancestor, man. Powerful man, that,
Jomo Kenyatta's legacy was, or still is, that Africans in Kenya could rule themselves. He wrote a colonial legacy. He persuaded people that they could rule themselves, and those who were in doubt, he ruled them and showed he could rule them with justice, and they could develop into a new country.
Today, we put a doctors around. Lawyers, you don't have to come them. That's what we need. And all that in a relatively short time of less than 40 years. Kenyatta legacy led the country on the right track.
He left a very good foundation that keeps Kenya going even today. Otherwise, the occasions that have come, if
You hear what they saying it? As I tell her, is the blueprint that these leaders have set for us is what make Kenya so great and make us who live such a better life than previous times in history. So this is where we have to continue from and build from, because the foundation already been set. So I want to say give thanks, and may him rest in power again, because I really appreciate love the work that he did. And people, put it down in the comment section. Give much respect and love and big him up. Big him up, big him up, big him up. You know what I mean? Don't play with it. Don't play with it, please. Don't play with it. Let's continue.
there was a foundation like that, Kenya could disintegrate. It has not. It is not going to, because of that good, firm, strong foundation that the father of this nation created.
When he allowed tribalism to get out of control, and when he allowed corruption to get out of control, old man was getting older and probably not in control of his life. Because the Jomo Kenyatta, who was free in the thinking, Jomo Kenyatta, was willing to sacrifice himself for the sake of his country. And I think we should remember him as a great man.
Definitely. It's just because he was getting old is why things were like falling apart. So we have to learn from them thingy. It's important that we do, because that is why you have to always make sure the youths are your offspring set away so they could continue from there. So even when you getting old, you don't teach your youth now the role or the road in which him should go. So he could continue from your works, you know. And I think this is probably the little mistake that he did, why things was getting astray now, you know, but still is the man that made Kenya so great and modernized Kenya in such a way. And these are the places that I want to go so I could see these landmarks, like a statue of them man here, and feel much proud of myself as an African man, other than living in this western part of the world where all you see is white men being portrayed like they are representing us, which is so far from the truth, you know. So yeah, Africa is really the place for every African man, and this is where we have to strive for be. As a Marcus Garvey said, repatriation is a must. And reparation definitely have to go with it. You know, we're coming to the ending of this video. So by now you should share and like and do all the good things, you know. I really appreciate love it. Enough respect same time still. So let's finish it and then reason a bit and get to the close, okay? Almost there, just a few seconds left. Kenyatta. Yeah, my people. So that is the end of the video of Jomo Kenyatta, the founding father of Kenya. Who find it on Faces of Africa. Just YouTube, just Google that part, search for that on YouTube, and you find the video where you could sit back and watch it on yourself now, or with yourself without my interruption. But this is my review of it that I want to share with y'all same time. I decide just to go live as well, you know, so we could have an interaction with one another and share and reason. It just sad that sometimes when doing these lives, what I notice is a lot of people don't tune in. Cause I don't know if the notifications not being sent out or what. That's why I need your help for help push it out there, because YouTube isn't working for black people as I agree of would happen, because I've sent out this notification since all up to then. It's like nobody haven't get the notification, you know. So you have to hit the notification bell as well, because it sends out to the algorithm that yeah, it's supposed to have important information that you will like to see. So it's very important that you do your part as well, you know. Because we are a team now. I can't do it without you. You can't do it without me. If I fail, you fail. So we have to always keep them things in mind. And it's a war we fighting. So we have to always know these things. Yeah, so send out the share the videos and them thing the do all the good things them, you know. You don't know, I just there same way. Taking it easy. Just love and respect all the time. Just love and respect. Tell me what you think about Jomo Kenyatta and his works, or this little clip of him. Because there are still much more that have been added to the clip, you know, because a lot of things still haven't been documented. You can document a whole person's life, but people try their best to get as much information that they can. And this is what we're working with right here. All right, so people you don't know, I dare say when I take it easy, man. Continue taking care of yourself and them thingy. Always look out for one another. You don't use black power all the time. You know? Enough love and respect, Rastafari love. And then we will continue with another video in the future. So make sure if you're watching this on the replay, you put on the notification. So when I drop another one now, you could tune in with me and reason. I will even share the screen with you. Once I see you having that interaction, we all could reason and you put out what you want out there for the public as well. Because I'm not a selfish person. I will share the screen with you. Okay? So yeah. Drop a comment, anything, let me hear what's on your mind. And until next video, I might just the same way. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Big up the channel. Alright? So you don't know. Enough love and enough respect. Peace out. Take care of yourself. Irie.